When I was young, maybe 22 or 23, just starting out in physics, I believed the universe had a purpose. I didn't know what that purpose was. I couldn't articulate it, but I felt it. There was something about the elegance of the equations, the way mathematics seemed to underlie everything, the sheer improbability of existence itself. It felt like it all meant something. I'm 85 now. I've spent over 60 years studying the deepest structures of reality: quantum mechanics, general relativity, string theory, black holes, the holographic principle. I've thought about the universe more carefully and more persistently than most people ever will. And I no longer believe the universe has a purpose. Not because I've become cynical, not because physics crushed my spirit, not because I've given up on meaning, but because I've learned to distinguish between different kinds of questions. Some questions have answers that science can find. Some questions have answers that science cannot find. And some questions I've come to suspect are not really questions at all. Today I want to share my honest thoughts about purpose, meaning, and the universe. Not as someone who has figured it all out, but as someone who has spent a lifetime thinking about it and has arrived at a kind of peace. A peace that doesn't require cosmic purpose. A peace that exists alongside uncertainty. This is not a lecture. This is a confession. Let me start with what physics tells us about the universe. Because if we're asking whether the universe has a purpose, we should first understand what kind of universe we're dealing with. The universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old. It began in an extremely hot, dense state we call the Big Bang. Since then, it has been expanding and cooling. Matter clumped together under gravity to form galaxies, stars, planets. On at least one planet, chemistry became complex enough to produce life. Life evolved, consciousness emerged. Here we are asking questions. The universe contains roughly 2 trillion galaxies. Each galaxy contains hundreds of billions of stars. Most of those stars have planets. The observable universe is about 93 billion light-years across. Beyond that, there's probably more universe that we cannot see and will never see because light from there hasn't had time to reach us. In this vast cosmos, Earth is a pale blue dot orbiting an average star in an unremarkable galaxy in a random corner of the observable universe. We are not at the center of anything. We are not special in any physical sense. The universe was not built around us. Now, does any of this physics tell us whether the universe has a purpose? No, it doesn't. Physics describes what the universe does. It describes how matter moves, how energy transforms, how space and time behave. Physics gives us the rules of the game, but it doesn't tell us why the game exists. It doesn't tell us whether the game has a point. This is crucial to understand. When people ask whether the universe has a purpose, they're asking a question that physics cannot answer. Not because physics is limited in some temporary way that future discoveries will fix, but because purpose is not the kind of thing physics deals with. Physics deals with causes and effects, with initial conditions and evolution, with symmetries and conservation laws. Purpose is something else entirely. Purpose implies intention. It implies a goal, an aim, something the universe is trying to achieve, and physics has no category for that. But wait, you might say. What about the apparent design of the universe? What about the fine-tuning of physical constants? Doesn't the universe look like it was set up for life? This is a serious argument, and I've thought about it for decades. Here's what I've concluded. Yes, the universe does appear fine-tuned in certain ways. The strength of gravity, the mass of the electron, the cosmological constant, dozens of physical parameters seem to be set just right for complex structures to form. If gravity were slightly stronger, stars would burn out too quickly. If the strong nuclear force were slightly weaker, atoms heavier than hydrogen couldn't exist. If the cosmological constant were much larger, the universe would have expanded too fast for galaxies to form. This looks like design. It looks like someone carefully adjusted the dials to make life possible. But there are other explanations. One is the multiverse. If there are many universes with different physical constants, then it's not surprising that we find ourselves in one compatible with life. We couldn't find ourselves in a universe where life was impossible. This is called the anthropic principle, and while it might seem like a cop-out, It's a legitimate scientific hypothesis with some theoretical support from string theory and eternal inflation. Another explanation is that we don't understand the constants as well as we think. Maybe there's a deeper theory that explains why the constants have the values they do. Maybe what looks like fine-tuning is actually the only way things could be, given the underlying physics we haven't yet discovered. And there's a third possibility that I find most honest. We don't know. The fine-tuning might be evidence of design, or evidence of a multiverse, or evidence of our ignorance. We cannot currently distinguish between these possibilities. Anyone who claims certainty is overstating what we actually know. So does fine-tuning prove the universe has a purpose? No. It raises interesting questions, but it doesn't answer them. Here's what strikes me most when I think about cosmic purpose. The universe is silent. By that I mean the universe doesn't communicate. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't tell us why it exists or what we're supposed to do. We observe patterns, regularities, laws, but the laws don't come with instructions. They don't come with meaning attached. If the universe had a purpose, wouldn't we expect some sign of it? Some message encoded in the cosmic microwave background? Some mathematical constant that spells out an intention? Some structure that could only be explained by design? We find none of that. We find a universe that operates according to impersonal laws, that treats Earth no differently from any other rock in space, that will eventually fade into heat death regardless of anything we do. The cosmos is not hostile. It's not trying to harm us. But it's not friendly either. It's not trying to help us. It's simply indifferent. The universe doesn't care whether humanity survives or goes extinct. The universe doesn't care whether you find happiness or suffer. The universe doesn't care about anything because caring requires consciousness, and the universe as a whole is not conscious. This is hard to accept. We evolved as social creatures, constantly reading intentions into the world around us. We see faces in clouds, agency in random events, purpose in coincidences. Our brains are designed to find meaning even where none exists. So when we look at the universe and feel that it must mean something, that feeling might be our psychology, not a feature of reality. I've had to learn to distrust that feeling. Not because feelings are bad, but because feelings can mislead us about the nature of things. The universe feeling meaningful is not evidence that it is meaningful. Let me tell you what I lost when I stopped believing in cosmic purpose. I lost the comfort of thinking that everything happens for a reason. When bad things happened, I could no longer tell myself it was part of some grand plan. Suffering was just suffering. Loss was just loss. There was no hidden meaning to extract, no lesson the universe was trying to teach. I lost the sense that my life was cosmically significant. In a purposeless universe, my existence doesn't matter to the cosmos. The universe will not remember me. 1 billion years from now, there will be no trace that I ever existed. This is true for all of us, for all of humanity, for all of life. I lost this certainty that comes with believing you're here. Without cosmic purpose, the question, why am I here, has no external answer. No one put me here for a reason. I just am here, a temporary pattern of matter and energy, soon to dissolve. These losses were real. I don't want to pretend they weren't. For years I felt a kind of vertigo, a groundlessness. The universe that had seemed so meaningful now seemed cold and empty. But then something shifted. I realized that the absence of cosmic purpose doesn't mean the absence of all purpose. It means the absence of purpose imposed from outside. It means that if there's going to be purpose in my life, I have to create it myself. This sounds like a consolation prize, like settling for less. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized it might actually be something greater. A purpose given to you by the universe would be a purpose you had no choice about. You would be serving someone else's agenda, fulfilling someone else's plan. You would be a means to an end that you didn't choose. A purpose you create for yourself is genuinely yours. It's not imposed. It's not obligated. It's freely chosen. And that freedom, that authorship, might be more valuable than any cosmic assignment. I found purpose in physics, in the joy of understanding, in the thrill of discovering something new about how reality works. No one told me to do physics. The universe didn't assign me this task. I chose it because it captivated me. because it gave my days structure and meaning, because it connected me to something larger than myself. I found purpose in relationships, in loving people, in being loved, in the small daily acts of kindness and connection that make life worth living. The universe doesn't care about love, but I care about love, and my caring is enough. I found purpose in the simple fact of being conscious. Here I am, a collection of atoms that somehow woke up and can ask questions about itself. That's astonishing. That's miraculous, if you want to use that word. Not because someone designed it that way, but because it happened at all. The universe doesn't need to have a purpose for my life to have meaning. Meaning is something that happens inside conscious beings. It's not a feature of galaxies or black holes. It's a feature of minds. And I have a mind, so meaning is available to me, regardless of what the cosmos is or isn't doing. I won't pretend this is easy. Creating your own meaning is harder than receiving it from the universe. It requires effort. It requires choice. It requires taking responsibility for your own life in a way that cosmic purpose would have spared you. Some days I still feel the vertigo. Some days the universe still seems cold and indifferent, and I wonder why I bother. Some days the scale of everything, the billions of galaxies, the trillions of years, the eventual heat-death, makes my small life seem absurd. But then I remember, absurdity is not the enemy of meaning. Albert Camus understood this. He wrote about Sisyphus, condemned to roll a boulder up a hill for eternity, only to watch it roll back down, again and again, forever. This seems like the ultimate meaningless existence. But Camus said we must imagine Sisyphus happy, not because the boulder reaches the top, not because there's a reward at the end, but because the struggle itself, the engagement with existence, the refusal to surrender, that's where meaning lives. I've come to see my work that way. Physics is my boulder. I push it up the hill, trying to understand the universe a little better. I know I'll never fully understand it. I know my work will eventually be forgotten. I know the universe doesn't care whether I succeed or fail, but I care. And in that caring, in that pushing, I find meaning. So does the universe have a purpose? Here's my honest answer. I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows. I cannot prove the universe is purposeless. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Maybe there's a purpose so subtle, so hidden, that we haven't detected it yet. Maybe the purpose will only become clear at the end of time. Maybe we're too limited to understand the purpose even if it were revealed to us. But I also cannot find any evidence that the universe has a purpose. Everything I observe is consistent with a cosmos that operates according to impersonal laws, that wasn't designed with us in mind, that will continue long after we're gone without missing us. The most honest thing I can say is this: the universe doesn't appear to have a purpose, but I can't be certain, and I've learned to live without certainty. And I've learned something else, something more important. My need for cosmic purpose was really a need for meaning in my own life. When I stopped looking for purpose in the stars and started creating purpose in my daily existence, the question became less urgent. Not because I found an answer, but because I stopped needing one. Let me tell you what I believe now, after 60 years of physics and 85 years of life. I believe meaning is real, not as a feature of the cosmos, but as a feature of conscious experience. When you love someone, that love is meaningful, not because the universe endorses it, but because you experience it as meaningful. That's enough. I believe purpose is real, not as a cosmic assignment, but as something we construct through our choices and commitments. When you dedicate yourself to something, to science, to art, to family, to justice, that dedication creates purpose. The purpose is yours. It doesn't need cosmic validation. I believe that a universe without purpose is not a tragedy. It's an opportunity. It means we're free. We're not servants of some cosmic plan. We're not cogs in a divine machine. We're conscious beings who get to decide for ourselves what matters. This might seem like less than cosmic purpose, but I think it might actually be more. A meaning imposed from outside is not really yours. A meaning you create is authentically yours. And authentic meaning, freely chosen, might be the deepest meaning available. Students sometimes ask me about meaning and purpose. They're drawn to physics because they want to understand reality, and they hope that understanding will reveal some deeper significance to existence. I tell them the truth. Physics will not give you cosmic meaning. Physics will show you an elegant, beautiful, mathematically precise universe that operates without reference to your hopes or fears or values. The universe doesn't care about you. Physics makes that clear. But physics will give you something else. It will give you the experience of understanding, the thrill of seeing how things fit together, the joy of discovering something no human has ever known before, the connection to a community of thinkers stretching back centuries and forward into the future. That's not cosmic meaning, but it's meaning. It's real, and it's available, and it doesn't depend on the universe having a purpose. I tell them, don't look for meaning in the equations. Look for meaning in the looking. The search itself is meaningful. The understanding itself is meaningful. The fact that the universe produced beings who can contemplate the universe, that's meaningful, even if no one intended it. I'm at peace now, not because I've answered the question of cosmic purpose, but because I've stopped needing to answer it. The universe might have a purpose I don't understand, or it might have no purpose at all. Either way, I'm here, I'm conscious. I get to experience existence for a brief moment before dissolving back into the cosmos. That's remarkable. That's enough. I don't need the universe to care about me. I care about me. I care about the people I love. I care about the questions I study. That caring is meaning enough. When I look up at the stars now, I don't ask what they mean. I just look. I feel the vastness. I feel my smallness. I feel the improbability of being here at all. A conscious being in an unconscious cosmos. And instead of finding that depressing, I find it liberating. The universe has no expectations of me. There's no cosmic test I'm supposed to pass. There's no divine plan I'm supposed to fulfill. I'm free to make of my life whatever I choose. That freedom is terrifying. It's also wonderful. I started this as a young man who believed the universe had a purpose. I'm ending it as an old man who doesn't know whether it does, and who has found peace in not knowing. If you're looking for cosmic purpose, I cannot give it to you. I don't have it to give. I don't know if anyone does, but I can tell you this, you don't need it. You can live a meaningful life in a meaningless universe. You can create purpose where none exists. You can love and learn and struggle and grow, not because the cosmos demands it, but because that's what conscious beings do. The universe may have no purpose, but you do. The purpose you choose, the meaning you create, the life you build. That's not a consolation prize. That's the whole thing. Does the universe have a purpose? I don't know. Does your life have meaning? That's up to you. And that, after 60 years of physics, is the most honest answer I can give.